Welcome back to the Duo Dialogues.
Yeah.
You know, we talk about a lot of different things on the show,
We do.
but there's one topic that pretty much everyone can relate to, no matter where they are in the world.
Yeah.
And that's the weather.
It's true.
Like, seriously, think about it. Whether you're just making small talk, at the bus stop,
Mm-hmm.
or trying to, strike up a conversation with someone new,
Yeah,
the weather's like the ultimate icebreaker.
absolutely. It's something everyone experiences and can have an opinion on.
Right.
So it's a really easy way to start a chat.
And, I was looking through some materials that you sent over,
Mm-hmm.
and they really highlighted how crucial it is to be able to talk about the weather and the seasons in English.
Yeah, it comes up all the time in everyday conversations.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So our mission today
Mm-hmm.
is to basically give you a toolkit of,
Yeah.
simple but effective English phrases that you can use to chat about the weather and seasons,
Like a pro.
exactly like a natural speaker, so that you can feel super confident in those, day-to-day interactions.
Makes sense.
All right, so let's jump right in.
Okay.
Your sources really emphasize that discussing the weather is like a cornerstone of small talk.
It is. Why do you think that is?
I think it goes back to that shared experience we were talking about.
Hmm.
It's something we all observe and are affected by on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Plus, it's generally a safe topic,
Right.
You're not going to offend anyone by talking about the weather,
Right.
usually at least.
Unless you really hate the heat.
I guess that's true. But for the most part, it's a pretty neutral and accessible way to connect with people without getting into anything too controversial.
It's like instant common ground.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's move on to some of the essential vocabulary that we use to talk about the weather.
Sounds good.
We're going way beyond just,
Yeah.
good or bad here.
Yeah, we need more than that.
So let's start with, the most basic weather condition when the sun is shining.
Oh, you mean when it's sunny? It's
Yeah.
exactly what's sunny. Like, it's a beautiful sunny day.
Yeah. And even within sunny, you can have different levels.
Oh, yeah,
Like bright sunny or mildly sunny,
that's true.
which can make a big difference in how it feels outside.
Totally. And what about the opposite of sunny? What do we say when the sky is full of clouds?
Then it would be cloudy.
Cloudy.
Yeah, it's a bit cloudy today, might rain later.
And sometimes it can be partly cloudy, right?
Yes, exactly, where you have a mix of clouds and blue sky.
Okay, so we've got sunny and cloudy.
Uh-huh.
Now let's talk about what happens when water falls from those clouds.
Rainy.
Rainy.
It's so rainy today, I wish I had an umbrella.
But rainy can mean a lot of different things.
True, true.
What are some ways we can be more specific about the type of rain?
Well, we have drizzle, which is the lightest kind of rain.
Drizzle.
Almost like a mist,
Yeah.
You might not even need an umbrella for that.
Right. And then there's light rain,
Yeah.
which is,
Yeah.
a bit more noticeable. And then when it's really coming down hard, we say
Pouring.
pouring.
Or it's raining heavily.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
It's raining cats and dogs.
Oh, I love that one.
That's a fun one.
Although you might not hear that one as often,
Right.
but it's good to know.
Now, what about when the rain comes with, thunder and lightning?
Then it's stormy.
Stormy.
There's a big storm coming, we should stay inside.
That suggests, more than just heavy rain.
Definitely.
It's a whole weather event.
It is.
All right. And what about when you can't see very far because a thick layer of water vapor close to the ground?
Oh, you mean foggy.
Foggy, exactly.
Yeah, it's so foggy this morning, I can barely see the road.
Fog is often found near bodies of water
That's right.
or in the early morning.
Yeah, and it can make driving really dangerous.
Definitely. All right, now for a different kind of weather phenomenon.
Mm-hmm.
One that many people don't enjoy.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
How am I thinking of?
That sticky feeling in the air.
Yeah.
Especially in the summer.
Yeah.
Humid.
Humid, exactly.
The air is heavy with moisture.
And it makes the heat feel so much worse.
It's like you can't breathe.
All right, so we've talked about different types of rain and cloud cover
Mm-hmm.
and even humidity.
Yeah.
Now let's get into temperature.
Okay.
We all know the basics, hot and cold,
Right.
but how can we express different degrees of hot and cold?
That's a good question.
Like on a really, really hot day?
Oh, you could say it's scorching?
Scorching or boiling even?
Boiling, yeah. It's boiling out there today.
Definitely. And for cold, you have freezing,
Freezing.
when the temperature drops below 0 degrees Celsius or 32 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yeah, it's freezing outside. I need to wear my warmest coat.
And then there's chilly,
Chilly.
which is like a mild kind of cold.
Yeah, it's a bit chilly this evening. I might need a sweater.
Oh.
So we've covered sunny, cloudy, rainy, stormy, foggy, humid.
Don't forget scorching, boiling, freezing, and chilly.
Right. And now let's talk about the movement of air.
Ooh, wind.
Yeah, from a gentle breeze to strong gusts of wind.
Exactly. And just like with rain, wind can have different levels of intensity.
True.
So how do we describe those?
Well, a breeze is a very light and gentle wind,
A breeze.
often quite pleasant.
Yeah.
And as it gets stronger, we just say windy.
Windy.
And when it's really strong, we might use words like blustery or gusty
Entry.
to emphasize the force of the wind. Like, it's so gusty out there, the wind almost knocked me over.
Wow. With all of this vocabulary, we can paint a really vivid picture of what the weather is like.
We can.
But now let's shift gears a bit
Okay.
and talk about the different times of year,
The seasons.
the seasons exactly in many parts of the world.
Yeah.
We experience 4 distinct seasons.
Spring, summer, autumn, and winter.
Right. Let's start with spring.
Okay.
The season of new beginnings.
When nature comes back to life,
Exactly. What are some of the key characteristics of spring?
flowers start blooming, trees get new leaves, and the weather starts to warm up after the cold winter.
It's a time of renewal and growth.
Absolutely.
And what comes after spring?
Summer,
Summer, the warmest season of the year.
often associated with sunshine.
And heat.
Lots of heat,
Sometimes too much heat.
especially if it's humid.
Yeah, that sticky, humid heat we talked about earlier.
Not my favorite.
Okay, so we've got spring and summer.
Uh-huh.
Now as summer starts to fade,
Yeah.
the weather cools down.
And the leaves on the trees start to change color.
Right, what's that season called?
Autumn.
Autumn.
Or fall, as it's often called in North America.
What are some things that come to mind when you think of autumn?
Beautiful colors.
Yeah,
Like reds, yellows, and oranges.
and crispness in the air.
Yes, a
Yeah.
cool and refreshing feeling.
It's a very picturesque season.
It is.
And then finally we have winter.
The coldest season.
Winter can be very different depending on where you are in the world.
True, some places get lots of snow and ice.
While others have a milder winter.
Yeah, with less extreme temperatures.
So we've got our 4 seasons,
Spring, summer, autumn, and winter.
and we've talked about a bunch of different weather vocabulary.
We have?
Now let's see how all of this comes together in real-life situations.
Okay, sounds good.
Let's imagine a scenario where you're waiting for someone, and you want to strike up a conversation.
Like at a bus stop.
Yeah, exactly, at a bus stop.
Okay.
You could start by saying something like, "Lovely weather we're having, isn't it?"
Simple and pleasant.
And the other person might respond with, "It is. Finally some sunshine after all that rain."
Yeah, it's a great way to break the ice and connect with someone.
See how easy that was?
It is.
Just a simple comment about the weather
Mm-hmm.
can lead to a conversation.
Absolutely.
Now let's try another scenario.
Okay.
Imagine 2 colleagues meeting by the water cooler at work.
All right.
One colleague could say, "Did you get caught in that downpour earlier?"
And the other colleague might reply, I did. I'm soaked. Glad to be inside now where it's dry.
These little exchanges show how natural and common it is to talk about the weather.
Yeah, it's something we all experience, so it's an easy way to relate to each other.
And it's not just about describing the weather.
Mm.
You can also express your personal preferences.
Oh, yeah, like whether you like or dislike certain types of weather.
Exactly. Someone might say, "I love rainy days."
Really?
Maybe they find the sound of rain soothing,
I can see that.
or they enjoy the cozy feeling of being inside,
Makes sense.
while someone else might say, "Summer is way too hot for me."
Yeah, I know some people who feel that way.
They might prefer cooler temperatures
Mm-hmm.
or dislike the humidity.
Right.
It's all about personal preference.
And expressing those preferences can make conversations more interesting and engaging.
Definitely. Now, your sources also pointed out some common mistakes that learners sometimes make when talking about the weather.
Oh, yeah. There are a few tricky things.
Can you give us some examples?
Sure, one common mistake is using very with the ing form of verbs that describe weather. So instead of saying it's very raining,
Right.
you should say it's raining heavily.
It's raining heavily.
Yeah, heavily is the adverb we need to describe the intensity of the rain.
Makes sense. What's another common error?
Another one is omitting the verb to be or using incorrect articles.
Okay.
So instead of saying today is a hot,
Today is a hot.
you should simply say today is hot.
Got it.
Small but important distinctions.
And they can really make a difference in how natural your English sounds.
Absolutely.
Now, speaking of technology,
Hmm.
many of us rely on weather apps these days
Oh, yeah, I check mine all the time.
to get our daily forecasts.
Uh-huh.
So it's helpful to understand some of the vocabulary used in these apps.
True.
What are some of the common terms we might see?
Well, you often see the forecast says, followed by the expected weather condition.
The forecast says.
Yeah, like the forecast says it will be sunny tomorrow.
Right.
Or the forecast says there's a chance of showers this evening.
What about that word chance? What does it mean in this context?
It means that there's a possibility of something happening,
Mm.
but it's not guaranteed.
So a 30% chance of rain means...
That there's a 30% probability of rain.
But it might not rain at all.
Exactly, it's just a possibility.
Okay, are you ready for a little quiz to test your understanding?
Oh, a quiz, bring it on.
All right, I'm going to describe a weather situation.
Okay,
And you try to guess what season it is.
sounds fun.
Here we go. The air is cool and crisp. The leaves on the trees are turning shades of red and gold, and pumpkins are being harvested.
That sounds like autumn.
You got it.
Or fall.
Yes, autumn or fall.
Nailed it.
See, you're already connecting the descriptions with the time of year.
It's all making sense.
So to wrap things up,
Okay.
we really hope this deep dive has given you a solid foundation for talking about weather and seasons in English.
We've covered a lot of ground.
We have from basic vocabulary
Mhm.
to real-life scenarios.
And even common mistakes to avoid.
The next time you have a chance to speak English, try using some of these phrases.
It'll make you feel more confident and fluent.
And as a final thought, I want you to consider how weather and seasons are perceived differently around the world.
Oh, that's interesting.
What might those differences tell us about our relationship with nature and with each other?
Something to think about.
That's it for this deep dive. Thanks for joining us.
See you next time.